Hi guys, welcome back to the third and final video for this week. I've been talking about bad posture and headaches, right? And if you're a headache sufferer, which actually surprisingly, I think for the tension headaches, and I think I am right here, is about 78 of the population has experienced tension headaches or maybe struggling from tension headaches. That's a massive number, right? So if you are someone that kind of does struggle with headaches, I think the underlying principle here is that we want to make sure that the diagnosis of the headache is correct. And so oftentimes people will kind of go, I've got a migraine, I'm just going to take a painkiller. And you don't really want to be doing that. You want to make sure that you've gone to your primary healthcare provider and they've given you the correct diagnosis so that you can get the correct treatment and respond well. So I spoke about how tension headaches, cervicogenic headaches, where they come from, how I've linked them to bad posture and how you can kind of, fix your posture and help that situation. I think this one, in terms of the headaches from the SCM, so it's quite a long, it's sternocleidomastoid muscle, which is why we say SCM, but it's basically the muscle that, if you can imagine, is going to hold you in forward head posture, and then is also just going to do a lot of this action. Now, when we think of the fact that we have text next or cell phone, a lot of cell phones, we're typically kind of looking at our cell phones like this, which means that these muscles have to constantly be contracting so that they can hold you in that position. Now, if you've watched a lot of my videos, I'm constantly talking about the idea that we shouldn't be holding ourselves in particular postures for too long. So whether it's 20 minutes, or what happens is your body starts to register patterns. Oh, this is the position we're always in, so let's lay down more tissue so that we can be stronger in this position. And the body is beautiful and smart, but sometimes this adaptation isn't always the best thing for us. And then we have dysfunction, and then we have pain, right? Now, with the SCM muscles, whenever I kind of work on the SCM muscles, which is more often than not, people are kind of like, oh, what is that? Because we haven't actually discussed the fact that muscle pain can be really bad. It can refer pain down your arm, or into your head, and so really this, like I said to you, so the SCM can refer and cause a headache that sits behind the eye, right? And the other thing, which is quite interesting, is that the SCM can also be linked to dizziness. So I think it was always just very interesting that we kind of look at this idea that you'll go, okay, dizziness, and sometimes we forget the SCM. It's like, oh, I'm just dizzy, or no, but it could potentially be coming from here, especially if you've got, headaches as well. And if you're in bad posture, so if you kind of got that forward head posture, you've got these rounded shoulders. The other thing that's very interesting is for the SCM and for bad posture, remember a couple of videos, probably way back in the beginning, I spoke about the fact that bad posture limits our breathing capacity. Now, if we're in these bad postures, what's going to happen is that the accessory muscles are going to do a lot more of the work than the actual intercostal muscles and the diaphragm, right? So what we really want to be doing is making sure that when we're in proper posture, we're practicing this really good deep breathing that's coming from our chest, so that the work isn't necessarily up here in the front of our neck, right? And then what's going to happen is we have these trigger points that actually form along the SCM and can cause these headaches. So what I tend to do for these is, like, one, obviously chiropractic adjustments, from the perspective that if we've got stuck joints, we want to make sure that they're moving in their proper ranges of motion. We want to also look at the chiropractic adjustment for the fact that it actually helps reduce the pain perception, so really great for pain management. And then we also want to look at soft tissue management, right? So how do we do this? The SCM has a lot of blood supply. So it's going to be very different to kind of putting your elbow in the traps. These, just a simple kind of pinch over the SCM is just going to help bring that blood supply. Now remember, we've kind of spoken about the fact that when we have tight muscles, we have knots that form, and the knots that form tend to cut off the micro blood supply. So we've got less nutrition in, less nutrition, less toxins out. Now, what in this area, because there's so much blood supply, you don't need to do too much to actually get more blood flowing to the area and help that relaxation process. The other thing is we also want to be doing the opening up. So we've got that in-doorway stretch that I've spoken about. And the SCM stretch is just what you want to do is kind of have your chin point into your armpit. You want to bring your hand over your head, so you don't want to pull. Gravity will do the pulling for you. So you just kind of want to just hold and you should feel a little bit of the stretch in the front, right? And then if you want to kind of make it a little bit more intense, instead of pulling your head down, just use this hand to grab onto a chair if you're doing it on, if you're kind of stretching on a chair, and then you have a little bit more of the distraction coming from the bottom. So, that's going to help you. And then obviously just making sure that we're kind of translating our head back, right? So what we said is every time we're sitting in forward head posture, we've got this contraction. What we want to do is translate our head back and then just make sure that we're, kind of standing in correct posture. So you've got that translation back. So you can get balance, right? So balance in the front, balance of the muscles in the front, and balance of the muscles in the back. So just very interesting that those three, so tension, cervicogenic headaches, and your SCM or headaches from your SCM can be easily linked to posture, and you can make yourself better with correcting your posture and just doing a couple of things like going to see your healthcare provider, going to see your chiropractor. The research behind SCM dizziness, go and check it out. It's very, very interesting. The research behind chiropractic and pain management, research behind chiropractic and headaches, chiropractic and migraines, which is always interesting because people tend to feel like it's a dead end. But did you know, and I'm going to throw this in here, did you know that migraine headaches tend to occur with cervicogenic or neck pain or jaw pain or tension headaches? Isn't that interesting? So then you can kind of look at, okay, maybe within my management protocol of a migraine, I can go and see my chiropractor to help me deal with the tight muscles that are possibly causing the tension headache, or the joints that aren't moving that are causing the cervicogenic headache, or the muscles in the front of my neck that are causing the SCM sort of headache, and just help in terms of reduction and pushing for functionality. Now, why am I talking about this? Well, because remember, we want better quality lives. And so I hope that this has helped you. I will see you in a couple of weeks. Cheers, guys.